is Ozcast. Join us walking down the yellow brick road and remembering the Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland and other fun conversations about the world of Oz. This is Ozcast.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is Aaron.
Jake.
And we're here to welcome you to Ozcast. It is our video podcast that is now transitioned from Ozcast to regular audio episodes to video. So from now on, you will see both of us, and we are excited to delve into the Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland and a lot of fascinating subjects. Aren't we, Jake?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right. So as everybody knows, last episode we kind of picked up on the apple orchards and our Wizard of Oz breakdown. So we're going to go on with that and continue all of that in another episode in the future. So today, since it is our video podcast and our first one, we're going to delve into a little bit in some other interesting areas of the Wizard of Oz. But before we do that, Jake, you have Surrender Dorothy coming up, your crowdfunding. And so Jake, obviously, it's kind of gone around now that you are crowdfunding for a really cool new Oz film. You're titling Surrender Dorothy. I think it's pretty awesome and what you're doing. Yeah, of course. Would you mind telling everybody a little bit about the plot and what you would like to share as far as the film's concerned? It's, as we all know, it's definitely not a normal Wizard of Oz film. There's a lot that's happening in this, and I think it'd be cool to hear your thoughts.
Yes, so it's a horror comedy. It's inspired by filmmakers such as Sam Raimi. Of course, it's inspired by Walter Murch's Return to Oz, the 1939 MGM Wizard of Oz film. And it's the plot as far as that goes is so Dorothy gets misplaced in time by the recently resurrected Wicked Witch of the West because she wants to rule over Oz without having to worry about Dorothy this time around. So she's come up with this plan to send Dorothy to another place in time where she believes that Dorothy will not be able to make her way back home, but Dorothy meets someone that helps her get back there, and then he has to help her save Oz as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really fascinating story and plot for this film because, as you're well aware, there have been a lot of different interpretations about Oz and the world of Oz in the last 20 plus years. And I don't know about you, but I mean, as you've researched, I think this is really original and it's one of a kind. You don't usually mix comedy and horror and everything else into one when it comes to an Oz story. For you, I'm just kind of curious. Did you have this set in mind when you started writing it, or did you kind of come up with the character plot like Reaper, for example, beforehand?
Yeah, so Reaper is kind of he's like 3 or 4 years in the making, but the Oz script, it kind of just started out as a fun idea where I was like, what if I could just have Dorothy somehow end up in Reaper's neck of the woods and they can have a little fun scene together. And then I was like, well, I think I kind of want to turn this into a full-on movie script. So it went from being just like a one-off scene into an entire story that revolved around Reaper and Dorothy. So
yeah, that's interesting because for example, there's been short stories and stuff written, and when you're going to take something that was considered small and make it big like that, it's more to tell, and it shows. I think that you have a bigger story to tell, which is Surrender Dorothy. That's pretty cool,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm kind of curious, is it going to be a musical at all, or are you going to have any songs in the film? Do you mind sharing about that?
Yeah, so originally it was only going to have one musical sequence, but very recently we've decided to add in the song that Judy Garland is famously known for performing, Get Happy, because it just recently became public domain. So our Dorothy actress, Mariah Pearson, is going to be performing that song because she is trained in singing as well as acting. And we're trying to get a song together for our Wicked Witch actress as well. So she's having some people she has connections with come up with something for her, and she's gonna perform some stuff. And then the third song that's in it is my character's song that he sings. So
Cool.
there's gonna be 3 musical sequences as far as original numbers go.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to be able to hear and hopefully learn some new actual Oz songs to the list of Oz songs that have been already given out. I think that's pretty cool.
Of course.
And you definitely have a great cast. Zoe is amazing as the Wicked Witch, and you couldn't find anybody better to play the witch.
I agree.
Yeah, awesome. So, delving on, if you'd be cool to kind of share with Surrender Dorothy, the crowdfunding, it's happening right now. We definitely urge everybody to check it out and, donate, as much as you can or as little as you can. Jake has a lot of cool stuff going on there as far as items. Do you want to kind of share about that as well and some of the perks?
Yeah, so we're offering both DVDs and signed DVDs, Blu-rays and signed Blu-rays of the film. We're doing, there's a soundtrack, we're offering screen use props, costume pieces, there's producer credits you can get in the film for helping out, all that type of stuff is what we got going on.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And, as far as you've been concerned, you've been getting some interviews happening, to those that haven't seen it yet. It's pretty exciting. Ryan J, everybody knows who Ryan J is in the Oz community. He's been interviewed at Ryan J. The interview got posted online, on YouTube and even on the International Wizard of Oz Club's Facebook page. So he's gotten some great exposure lately, and how it is. Exposure brings a lot out when it comes to the public, especially I think in the Oz community, right? So we definitely really want to encourage people to donate to this campaign and support the history and making of a wonderful new Oz film coming out. It's going to be awesome. And, I know it's dear to your heart because you wrote it. And, what do you think is a good takeaway for this film? What is it in the film that you want to grasp the attention of the audience? As maybe like a scene or something?
No, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It follows a lot of important themes like the Oz stuff always does, stuff about family and friendship and, always being there for, your the people you surround yourself with, helping them out. And there's a lot of Dorothy's trying to figure out her past and where she came from, and she would like to know more about her parents. A lot of family stuff in there. I'm hoping though that what most people will enjoy about the film is that it's going to be very much a cult horror comedy. So
Absolutely.
I hope it's considered among films like the 1980s Flash Gordon and things of that nature. So
yeah, and from a personal standpoint, this film is really going to be great. And as you've all heard, Jake has put a lot of time and effort into writing this, and the directing. There's a lot that he's going to be doing, and supporting another Oz film that's not like any of the others is definitely a worthwhile endeavor of everybody. So I think that I've obviously made so clear enough how important this is, I think, to Jake and to everybody else that wants to support it. Do you mind going in a little bit about Surrender Dorothy? It's an interesting title. When you called it Surrender Dorothy, was it because you think she needs to surrender to the witch, since we see that in Wizard of Oz, or did you have another kind of idea in your head?
The name is supposed to be as though it's the witch saying it to Dorothy's crew, like in the original film. We had a name change. It was originally Friend of Dorothy, and
right.
People found that title a little misleading, so we decided to change it. And my Wicked Witch actress, Zoe O'Hallen, she actually she mentioned to me that there was a canceled Oz film from a few years ago with that title, and she suggested it, that might be a good one, and so we just went with it. It was the best thing that
came up with it. Yeah, no, I think it's a great title. I think it stands out. I think everybody will, can see that as well. So I'm also curious to you. Surrender Dorothy. This film is going to be up there with some of these other films, and I think that because of the way this film is going to be brought out, and especially with the plot, there's a lot going on. Did you ever have some times when you were writing the script where you were like, hey, I think I'm going to change that scene around completely, or did you kind of already have it down as started during the writing process?
Yeah, there was definitely some stuff in there, some concepts that I've been toying with for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a teenager, I started writing an Oz story, and I never got very far into it, but the premise of that one was that Dorothy was an adult and she had a son, and her friends come from Oz saying that they need her help, and she swore to never return there to protect her son, but then she's kind of forced to go with her son to save Oz. And when they get there, the villain is the Monkey King of the Flying Monkeys, so he's the only thing that kind of carried over from that original script, because he is one of the bad guys in this one. So.
Right. That's really interesting. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Surrender Dorothy ending up, obviously the film has to be shot, and the film needs to be edited and completed, but let's say all that's done and you're going to want to have a premiere. What's your idea for the best premiere for you for your film? Where would you like to see it premiere at?
Oh man, that's a good question.
I
haven't really thought that far into it yet, but
yeah.
I mean, of course, like Sundance would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. And as everybody knows, I think it's difficult to get into Sundance. A lot of people know I produced Remembering Return to Oz with the cast and crew of the 1985 film, and I looked at Sundance in the qualifications and everything. It was pretty. It was intense. I did, obviously, as you know, I did win some other awards and the film festivals. But yeah, Sundance. Well, good luck if you can get into Sundance.
Thank you. Yes.
Awesome.
And I do also plan on putting it on like some, like some online film contests, like there's like horror film contests you can put stuff in.
Oh yeah,
I could submit it to those and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot out there. FilmFreeway.com is one of the best ones, I think. There's a lot of people that submit to there. I've submitted to that one. They kind of connect, the festivals. It's pretty cool,
Yes.
Definitely, I'm sure you're aware of them.
Oh, I am.
Oh yeah, of course. So, kind of going back to with Surrender Dorothy and just Oz in general, do you think that if you weren't really a fan of The Wizard of Oz or even Judy Garland, you think this film wouldn't be existing? And you were maybe, let's say you were just a casual fan, do you think you would have written something else? Or do you think it would have not have been Surrender Dorothy if it weren't for you being such in love with The Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland? From a personal standpoint.
Yeah, I'm not really someone that can, like, a bunch of these directors right now are like, and I'm not trying to like talk against anyone's work or anything.
Of course.
A lot of them are kind of just jumping on the bandwagon to like make cash off of the Wizard of Oz property.
Yeah.
And I can't really write something or make something that I'm not passionate about. So yeah, if I was not a fan, it would not be something that would be happening. So
yeah,
I have to have a real passion for it.
Yeah, I agree. I felt the same too. And even from a personal standpoint, for me, I wouldn't have made the Return to Oz documentary if I didn't love Return to Oz. And, I think it goes to where your passion is, and especially in film. People aren't making a film and producing it if they're not into the film or even the subject, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Would you mind going in? I think it'd be kind of cool. A lot of people, they kind of see what I'm doing with my website and everything. But if you don't mind, I think it'd be cool to tell, what's happening with your production company. You got some cool stuff too.
Yes. There's currently about, I think it's 5 or 6 films on my slate for my production company that I'm wanting to release in the next few years. Just started the Facebook page for it, of course. Silly the Kid Productions.
Yep, check it out.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, this first slate all focuses on my original character of the Righteous Reaper that I play, about a undead black metal artist who is the Devil's Bounty Hunter, and he's trying to do things. He's trying to do right by the world to save his soul and to be the man he once was again before he was tricked into his deal with the devil.
Bounty Hunter. Wow, that's. I think that's intense even for Wizard of Oz fans, don't you? That's interesting. It's interesting, but of course,
Yeah, I will say that that him being the Devil's Bounty Hunter doesn't play a huge part in the Oz film or anything, but he is present.
Okay. Interesting. I think it'd be kind of cool. I mean, Reaper's a big part of your life as far as the character that you have portrayed for quite a while now, since it is original character to you. It's always cool when you hear about other people, right, that make original characters, that stands out sometimes, even to normal ones, because they're like, oh wow, right? I mean, I thought that about Reaper. What kind of character, is a Reaper to the audience and to you?
In what way exactly?
Right. So, like, for example, let's say somebody is on YouTube and they see a portion of the video about Reaper. What do you want your character Reaper to come across as far as his character and as him as an individual?
Oh, he's very I guess you could call him. He's very blunt. He's a little abrasive.
Right. I think he is.
He's kind of has like an anti-hero vibe about him. Not really, not good, not bad, but he's kind of in the middle there. Chaotic good, I guess you would call him.
Interesting.
But I've been told by quite a few people that he is an enjoyable character to follow.
He is.
So I must be doing something right with him.
I think so. I mean, I've met Reaper, right? And I mean, I will say that I don't get along with everything that Reaper does, but I mean, I'm still his friend, aren't I?
Of course.
I'm glad. Yeah, same for me, for you. Same. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so here's a funny story, right? Because, we know people do like funny stories. When I saw Reaper's character filmed at one point at a shoot, there was a weird light that was going off. And when you look at the picture, you're looking at like a demon, and you would have never known it was a real person, like I thought. You know what I mean? It's interesting, when things are filmed and you look back at a screenshot of a frame and be like, wow, that doesn't look like that individual, right? I mean, I know you've seen that.
Yes, I really try to change my appearance and my the way my facial structure is.
Of course.
Kind of helps me get into the character better, and like really sell the acting on him and whatnot.
Right. And it makes me think about some of these other really cool films that have been coming out. A lot of people might have seen Frankenstein, that's on Netflix, and Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein. I'm kind of curious. I mean, I know you thought that was pretty cool, right? The way they turned him into Frankenstein.
I did, yes. I thought he was the best thing about the film.
Same.
And
yeah,
it's funny you say that, because it's a similar thing with my Reaper character. He mentioned that he felt the most comfortable in his skin as that character than in any other role he's ever played.
That's really
so
really
I
cool.
very much relate to that.
Yeah, that's really cool. And obviously it's fascinating when you see something like that, because if people didn't know it was him, you wouldn't be able to tell. And then there's other people who be like, oh yeah, I know it's him, but like I don't think I could have told, right, if they didn't say. Well, I mean, would you be able to pick up on that or no?
I mean, to be honest, I had seen 5 of his films prior to
cool.
Frankenstein.
Right.
So
you've seen the Priscilla movie, so.
Yes, and I'd also seen all the Kissing Booth films.
Okay.
And so he, I mean, I get what you're saying. He does look quite different, obviously, but I still feel like they gave the monster too much of a pretty look to him. Like he doesn't look like necessarily hideous. He looks a little odd, but he still has a little bit of that Elordi handsomeness to him.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I think I can see that. That's really interesting. All right, so we're going to edit this next part out. Where do you want this to go next? I mean,
that's up to you. You took it over to Frankenstein.
I know.
So
Well, I know that, but I thought, I know. I kind of just thought about. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that. All right.
I mean, you can just be like, like back to.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah. So I mean, obviously, back to Surrender Dorothy. This film is, like we've already talked about. It's going to be pretty major. I think. When it comes to the future of Oz films. It's not something that's just going to sit around. I think it's going to be extremely memorable. And speaking of memorable, what would you like people to remember about this film? Obviously, when it's shot and completed, and people see it.
Honestly, I hope that people enjoy the writing and the campiness of it, and I hope that people really like the performances of the actors, because there's some really talented people involved in this, and
All right.
I really want people to see, more than anything, I think Zoe and Mariah's performances are going to really elevate the film and everything.
Yeah, and I think they're going to blow people out of the water. I've seen Zoe a number of occasions perform live as the witch, and she's amazing, I think. And Mariah, from what I've seen, right, she's going to be amazing as Dorothy. And you know how it is. You don't look the part until you are the part. And, we know that they definitely are for your project. I definitely see that.
Oh, yes. And, as mentioned in the pitch video for the Indiegogo,
right.
Mariah, is a very long time fan of Wizard of Oz. And, she was even Dorothy for Halloween when she was 2 years old. So, yeah, they're both, it's very close to their hearts like it is to ours.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. And it's really cool, because not only did you find professional actresses for these roles, you found people that really love and respect the Wizard of Oz, right? I mean, doesn't that bring a lot of joy to your heart as well?
It does, because it gives better faith in the project, and people who are passionate about doing something do a much better job than people who are doing something just to profit off of it, or something of that nature.
Of course,
so.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right, and I do see that, and it's amazing to see how far this is going to go. It's going to go pretty far once it gets completed. And that's a great thing. And like I said, crowdfunding, it can be tough, but like I said, we want to encourage people, right, to donate to this project, because it's going to be amazing. It really is. And I mean, I'm fortunate to be involved. Not a lot, but it's really cool, and I support it wholeheartedly, and we definitely hope that everybody can as well. And like we keep saying, go to the campaign. We're over $900. We're right. It's close to 1,000. There needs to be a lot more, obviously. So we're definitely hoping for that with everybody.
Yes. Whatever anyone can contribute if they're interested in the project. And I mean, if, even if, we don't meet the funding, the film is still going to get made. This will this way we'll be able to give our actors a little more. The movie will be able to come out sooner and be a little better, This is just to kind of get it above, make it look a little more than a independent production. And give our actors more of what they deserve. And,
Of course. I don't think, even when it comes down to it, even for Wizard of Oz, I don't think the film would have been the same, right, without Judy Garland. Do you think that the original film wouldn't be the same without her? People always talk about that,
Oh, yes. I mean, I think Judy Garland was born to play Dorothy in that movie in that time, because I don't know, so many things point to, I mean, multiple people in that movie really being in it, even with Frank Morgan, how the jacket that he picked out from the thrift store, how it ended up being Frank Baum's, that's almost like he was destined to be in that movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not, I don't think that was random. I think that was supposed to be there. I mean, there's no way, right? I mean, I think everybody knows that story, probably. I mean, that to me, that's one of the top, really most interesting, cool things I think about that film too. Don't you think?
Oh, yes.
Having found that, right.
Cool. And Judy Garland's, the gravitas that she brings to that role, I don't think anyone else could have done it. Definitely not.
No.
Shirley Temple at the time.
I know you're going to say that. Yeah, right. I mean, and as you know, there's been so much talk about that.
Nothing against Shirley Temple.
Right, nothing against Shirley Temple, but I mean, come on, you can't see her being like that small, you know, and doing that. I mean, I'm sure she could have, but I mean, everybody knows when you see them, Judy Garland and the rest of them on the Atlantic Road, but then you're going to picture her, it just doesn't look right? I mean, and that's the thing, really, you know, she, even at the time, she wasn't really tall either, so she was still going to be little, right, you know, on the Atlantic Road.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, like Judy, her acting skills at that time were way above, in my opinion, that of a 16-year-old girl. So
yeah,
she definitely like. I mean, I know she's supposed to be 12? Is that what it is?
Something like yeah.
Yes, but she really very, very professional and very just so heavy the way that she plays everything in it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very impressive, and yeah, I don't think anyone else who would have done it at that time could have matched her energy.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, I always thought that Judy, especially when that film was being made, she became an adult like really fast, right? Because I mean, you don't hear, like, you know how it is. Everybody knows, you hear all these crazy stories about celebrity teenagers and all this, you know, crap that they get into, but you don't hear about that really with Judy Garland when she was in The Wizard of Oz, right? I mean, have you ever heard anything weird that happened to her during the filming, outside of the medication stuff and the overdoses, which I mean at the time she wasn't.
Well, I mean,
at the time she wasn't overdosing, but
I mean that I believe that is when a lot of that drug abuse began, from like the studio and her mother, and they were definitely, and you know, they wouldn't let her eat hardly ever.
That's right, her limits on meals.
Yeah, she was allowed to eat like soup, and that was it, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean. Yeah, I mean, she wasn't like... She definitely didn't get on drugs herself like a lot of child actors do. It was more like kind of like forced down her throat, essentially, by, you know, everyone around her.
Louis B. Mayer.
Yeah.
I mean, that was... I mean, I always think, right, that Louis B. Mayer was the main one that was kind of involved with a lot of that. So do you want to tell the audience where you and I are going soon?
Yes, we are going to Illinois to shoot some promotional images and footage for Surrender Dorothy, and hoping that you know, helps out with the campaign and getting to show people some of the stuff we're actually doing, so that, you know, they know that it's a trusted campaign we're doing.
Absolutely.
And that we are going to be delivering an actual Oz film.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching our first video podcast today, and we're excited to continue. A lot more that we're going to be delving in, and we want to thank everybody. And again, my name is Aaron.
Jake.
And we'll see you guys all soon.
This is Ozcast. Join us walking down the yellow brick road and remembering the wizard.